different time?
Dan, and
Dan.
it was Joe, right?
Joe, yeah. Nice
yeah.
You from the Northeast?
Yep. So I grew up in Bensalem, like Trevose area,
yeah,
and
not too
then it's a lot cheaper to live down here when you have motorcycles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Garage space isn't cheap up in Bucks County at all. Are you from the Northeast?
Yeah, I grew up in Somerton. My dad was a Philly firefighter for 40 years.
Okay.
My mom was an occupational therapist, later special educator. A lot of the schools up here, so like New Foundations, the County Charter.
Okay.
So grew up in Somerton. My family's been in Somerton for 50 years. Hey guys. Hey. Good. How are you?
Are we good? Do we sound good?
Is it going?
Yeah.
And yeah, now I live in Tacony, so not super far from here.
Okay. And if you could introduce yourself, because I didn't know who you were either.
Oh, that's
right
okay.
Yeah.
My name's Joe Picozzi. I'm our state senator for Northeast Philadelphia.
What is it like being a 30-year-old in a very old-timers political kind of theater, you know?
Well, I think for a lot of things, it's really just a different perspective.
Okay.
You know, and I mean, I'm the youngest senator, youngest member of my caucus by far, and it gives me a special position where when they're dealing with issues for young people, they all look to me. Right?
Yep.
I'm also the only Republican in the Senate from Philadelphia. So when we're in our caucus room, when anything comes up, you know, referring to the city of Philadelphia, they're all looking at me.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a lot of responsibility for sure. But I think people want to see change. You know, I wasn't elected to just reinforce the system and make it, you know, continue to be what it is. I come in with this perspective that I don't think the system's working, and the system needs to change, and it needs reform, and it needs new energy and new ideas, and frankly, new leaders. So I certainly don't hope to be the youngest state senator for very long.
Do you stay like up to date on the world politics, like what happens in other countries and stuff? Like, for instance, I bring up like Nepal. They just had
Gen Z.
Yeah, their Gen Z overthrew their government on a Discord server.
Yeah.
Like mind blowing.
Yeah.
Right.
But here's the thing, right? We kind of, it's not the same thing, but my campaign was all Gen Z, essentially. The median age of my campaign was like 19. It was high school kids, college kids, and we have a political regime almost in the city that's almost hereditary. It's the same families, you know, it is kind of dynastic, feudal politics, and we were able to break that here. And young people have so much power, so much power. They don't realize how much power they have, and they have a mandate to shape the future. You know, you and I, we're going to be living in Philadelphia in the 2070s, and we have a responsibility to build a better city for all of us. So I think we need more young people to get involved in politics. And if you do that, I mean, almost everyone in my campaign had never been in politics before.
Yeah, so, and I think it's crazy because I talk to a lot of college kids. I do this on college campuses, and I always ask them, what are their dreams? What do they want out of life? And they look at me bewildered. They're like, what do you mean? I can have a dream? I'm like, what are you spending all this college money on if you have no aspirations? And I film a lot of stuff that's, you know, I go to the press conferences all over the city and I film that, and I only see the older generation broadcast cable, right, where it's totally exiling the younger generation, Gen Z and millennials, because they don't watch Fox, they don't watch 6, right? So and you see a lot of independent reporters in there, and they just, it seems like our generation of media is a lot less biased than the old generation. They're more like, well, why is it that way? What is going on? Where like, I see a lot of press nowadays, they're like, well, what do you think about this? Why can't we have it this way? Like, it's very one-sided, and it's almost like they have an agenda before they ask the question, and that doesn't tell you all the facts. That just tells you one side of a story.
I'll tell you what young people are sick of. It's this blame game politics of, you know, can you believe what this person said, or this thing, this outrage bait? Yeah. It's nonsense. We want to see a politics that's serious about solutions, that isn't about, oh, the other party, they're so bad, and It's like, that's such a phony, almost like Marvel movie kind of politics that we just see through it, like on face. And I can tell you, I speak in a lot of high schools as well. Okay. And the kids, I mean, they're so level-headed, they're so sensible, they're so grounded in reality.
Right.
And they see through a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of things out there I think they're tried and designed to get you angry, right? And when you get angry, you're not thinking critically. And you fall into your, you know, this team or that team. And I think what young people want to see is people who care, people who work, and people who show up to get actual results.
Yeah. We've lost the sense of community, I feel like. And it's crazy. I was just filming Larry Krasner, I don't know if you're aware of him.
Yeah, I'm aware of him.
So
Sure.
he just went to Switzerland to the UN conference, which I didn't think like city officials would go to the UN.
Wait, what's
like,
he doing?
Last week he was in Switzerland for the UN Human Rights Council.
Okay.
So we paid for that, which is nice.
Yeah, our tax money, flying around the world. He had a reality show. Do you know that? He had a TV show.
I didn't
Philly
know that.
DA. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like based on like
It was
his
like they're filming
political-
him. Look it up.
Okay.
Talk
But-
about narcissism.
I was very I used to be like very supportive of like what Krasner did. Not all of his opinion, but he was a really big numbers guy. He loved talking about the numbers of homicides and stuff like that, and he's against the bail system, right? Which I think if you commit a crime and we catch you, and you know, with how the revolving door of Philly is, the jail system, we should keep you in there until we know what's going on with you, right?
Absolutely.
Not put you out in the street and see what you do in between. But since this Trump thing, I feel like he's got a weird obsession with Trump. Like today he was talking about human rights, and he called Trump a wannabe Hitler, like live on TV. And I was like, that's very odd. Like if I was working with, you know, I used to work at City Hall for Motorola, and you couldn't go walking around your like people you work with and be like, I think you act like Hitler. They'd be like, well, you got to take the HR now. That's not appropriate for work. But these people are going on TV and pointing the finger and going, you are this kind of person, which is very harsh. Like Hitler forced people into ovens, right? That's crazy to say a sitting president is doing anything to that caliber, right? It's just, it doesn't breed working together.
It doesn't, and it's one thing I'll say. It's a dereliction in duty. It's a distraction. He should be talking about the kids that got shot in Holmesburg. You know, literally the violence that's crept up into the Northeast, where people are scared to go outside at night.
Yep.
That's leadership, and I don't see that with our DA. I don't see it at all.
It's very like I'm not against anybody. I'm like a firm believer in there's good in everybody, right? But it's tough when you elect somebody, right? And he has a meeting every Thursday where he talks about what I think should be the whole week of things going on, but he picks one thing. Like last Thursday it was his acceptance, so he did it outside the DA. And then this week it was the human rights thing. But like you said, the shooting of the children. There was 3 armed men that tried to take a car down Cotman and then down Bly last week. Same guys, right? And we know them as the Kia Boys. They go around the city and they steal the cars. The Philly police are having press conferences. Lock up your car, buy stuff to prevent the theft. We're not solving it, right? So protect yourself. And we should be having conferences about what we can do with the city to stop, number one, these parents from letting these children out of the house with guns, right? Like, this is crazy. Like this year alone, I had somebody in a stolen vehicle, 3 children in ski masks hit me on 95. I pit maneuvered into the wall, called 911, and they were like, stop, it's too dangerous, let them get away. That's crazy to me. So I keep following them, and they hop out with guns on me. And I'm like, whoa, okay. But the police response to that is, well, what do you want us to do about it? They're long gone now. Well, walk around the block. The car's trashed. You can find the car, look for finger. It feels like there's so much of everything going on. It's a blip on everybody's radar. One event after another. Nobody's hyper-focused on anything other than, like, that woman that died after being kidnapped. It took the whole city, Miss Scott, it took the whole city paying attention for them to be like, this is big news. Let's focus on this. And it shouldn't be like that. Everybody's equal. Victims, the common citizen, everybody should be viewed as equal. And when they're not, that takes away that sense of community. When it says, all right, that person's case was more important than mine, what does it matter? I should go out and create crime.
It's so demoralizing for the people of the city and for our first responders. When criminals get sent, locked up, they're supposed to be in jail, and they're out the next day, and the police are locking up the same people over and over again. We talk about these crimes, and we know the people who did them. And there's no justice, and there's no justice for the victims. And a lot of that is on the hands of the district attorney, just my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think that when we talk about crime, a lot of it is a conversation about dignity. It's a conversation about dignity. You know, the right to live in a safe neighborhood where your kids can play outside, where you don't have to think twice about it. That's human dignity. You know, we're not asking for anything crazy. We're asking for the basics. And it seems like people don't deliver on the basics and then want to distract you. Look over here. Let's go to Switzerland. Is that where this guy was? Switzerland, and talk about the President of the United States. Meanwhile, people are getting shot and killed back home.
Yeah, and I just don't get it. I think our generation, and I talk about this sometimes, I think our generation will utilize tools like Facebook and Discord servers to vote independently every day about issues instead of, like, I think when we're in our 50s and our 60s, the time where you being elected, right, where people went out to polls once a year, right, to elect your position, that'll come as a old time, just like the penny ended this week, right? And it will be people voting weekly saying, well, this is how I feel about immigration. I want it to end this month, right? These are the steps we want to take, and it be an actual majority vote, like true democracy, instead of, you know, how it is today.
I'll say this, we need more democracy, not less. But democracy only works when people are engaged, right? And they're paying attention. My message to all young people is that you need to get involved, and you can get involved. And people should welcome you into the process. And if they don't welcome you, find someone else who will welcome you. I can tell you here as a leader in Northeast Philadelphia, I welcome your involvement. I want to get you involved however you can be involved. And I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican. We all got to figure out what the future looks like. And it's not going to be a red future or a blue future. It needs to be a beautiful future. And that's the only thing we can... A human future. A human future. I mean, we're living in a world where artificial intelligence is evolving, and we're losing our ability just to talk to each other.
Yep.
That does not set us up for success. So I know they're going to start lighting this soon. I had to hop off, but I'd love to sit down and talk longer at some time in the future.
How can people contact you or get involved?
Sure. My name's Joe Picozzi. I'm a state senator for Northeast Philadelphia. You can find me on my socials. I think I'm Joseph Picozzi on Instagram, Joe Picozzi on TikTok. But shoot me a DM if you want to reach out. I'd love to get you plugged in. And like I said, Democrat, Republican, don't even worry about anything like that. Just be a person in the neighborhood who cares about the community. And I want to see you get involved. I want to see you succeed. And frankly, we have to do it because for young people, nobody's coming to save us. Like, I've been in this for a year now. I can tell you, nobody's coming to save us. If we're going to build a better future that we've talked about, we're going to have to do it ourselves.
Amen. Well, thank you very much for your time, Joe.
Thank you.
And keep up all the great work.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Cheers.